Is she underpowered or overpowered? Seriously, I have
She's
to
overpowered.
That's the joke.
No, yeah, that's the joke.
She's
She's
overpowered.
overpowered, but because of it's circumstantial because she can
falsely-
only use it once a day, so she's.
Yeah.
But doesn't that make her underpowered if she can only use it once a day?
That's the joke.
Alex, it's a fucking
Konosuba's
comedy.
a-
That's the joke.
I
damn it.
know, but
Why are you taking
Alex.
anime so
That makes her
serious?
Alex, what are you doing?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Anime Club After Dark, the podcast that delves into all things anime, manga, and otaku culture related. I'm your host, Alex, but you can call me Senpai. And joining me tonight, I have everyone. We have our czar of source material, John.
Eekum bookum.
Eekum bookum. we have our poser extraordinaire, Nitai.
Dame dane. Dame yo.
Or
don't
should
know
I
the
say
rest.
Baka Nitai?
Bakanitai.
And we have our chivalry of Shota, Shotaro.
I'm the hood Mona Lisa.
The hood Mona Lisa.
You're the hood.
What?
What the fuck does that mean?
That's what I am.
All right, well, so tonight we have an interesting discussion planned, but before we get into it, I actually do want to talk about something that's kind of serious, which is very difficult to segue into after all of that bullshit. So this is kind of serious, but a survey was released recently by the Japan Actors Union, which represents both, live action actors and voice actors in Japan. And one of the questions on this survey was, have you ever thought about wanting to die because of work? And now, admittedly, this was a very small sample size, but there were 166 respondents to this question. 48 of them answered yes. That's roughly 30%. Have thought about actually killing themselves because of work. That's not good.
Yeah, but is it really working if you don't feel like fucking dying every 3 days? Come on.
It's a very American thing to say, John.
It is, isn't it?
Because you know what? As a fellow American, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, that's...
Damn Americans.
After Tuesday, you walk in, it's like, why do I even bother with you people anymore?
Yeah, it's a terrible statistic, but I mean, the only country that I can think of that's worse than America when it comes to like working is Japan. So
yeah,
makes sense.
I mean, for as much as you and I could probably rag on the whole work culture of America, like you go to Japan and it's like work is not a culture, it's a fucking way of life. Like there are people who live where they work in Japan.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you hear it even in the anime industry. There's animators that don't go home for weeks, perhaps months at a time.
Yeah, and there's like, there's no such thing as like overtime pay over there. There's a lot of black companies. Yeah. We've talked about this before on a previous episode, but like it's an actual serious thing, it's a serious problem. Like there's, what the fuck's a workers' union? We've never heard of that before in Japan.
What are unions? What are workers' rights?
What are unions?
Exactly.
Is that a word?
Workers? Wait, workers have rights? What is this?
Nah.
So that's some bad news, man.
Yeah, it's not great. Especially there have been some recent, I guess you could say high profile. Of course, if you don't really pay attention to like Japanese live action stuff, maybe not so much, but there have been some high profile Japanese actors and actresses who have committed suicide recently. And so it's kind of highlighted, how much of an issue this is. And something else that we've talked about on this podcast, like we've talked multiple times about how animators are overworked and how like, just about everyone in the anime industry is overworked to some extent. But we don't really talk so much about like the voice actors, but they are too. And a lot of voice actors in anime are have sort of become this public face of the anime that they make, because they'll go on and they'll do like television appearances to promote their anime, and they do these radio shows, and there's all this pressure on them to constantly be on and like portraying the characters that they play. And I can see that after a while that would probably become grating on you.
Also, because they have that whole like idol culture thing that extends to their actors and voice actors, right? Because like they're like the actors themselves become sort of a brand themselves, right? To some extent.
I think John and I could probably do an entire episode of the podcast on just how toxic idol culture can be.
Oh yeah, it's
for sure
the worst.
Like, I think John and I have talked about this privately amongst ourselves. Like, we actually kind of like idols and like the music that they make, but like the fans around it and like idol culture is just unbelievably toxic.
I mean, if you want to look at toxic fandoms, like you see on like Twitter, the Korea boos who are like standing stuff and all that stuff.
The K-pop stans.
Yeah, the K-pop stanners. Those are like basically the English equivalent of the same Japanese like weebs who are the same to the Japanese idols, and it's toxic, it's gross, and it's kind of just how all fandoms are in general, like pop idol group fandoms. I
think there are certain fandoms that are worse than others, but every fandom has their thing like that, where it's just there's this toxic element, but some of them are bigger elements than others, and I think the idol, fanboys are really toxic sometimes.
Well, it's because they're fucking basement dwelling virgins.
Degenerates.
Yeah, basement dwelling virgin degenerates who like they truly believe that this idol person exists for themselves. I'm like, no, they're just doing a job. They want to dance and sing and do stuff and entertain people. And they're not here for you. That is like just
exemplified. That is exemplified anytime an idol gets married.
Yeah,
because they will immediately lose a lot of fans when they get married.
Yep.
The fun that there's fans who killed themselves when they found out, oh my god, she has a boyfriend. You were the one for me. I'm like, dude, what? She didn't even know who you are.
And it's why you never find out about like Japanese entertainers getting married until like after it happens. It's because they keep this shit secret for as long as they can.
Well, it's just it's not just
there were a bunch of people that were legitimately pissed off when Kana Hanazawa got married.
Yeah, I was pissed off too. People. I was like, how dare you, Kana Hanazawa? I was supposed to marry you. Yeah, but yeah, it's
your snake goddess is not single anymore.
It's not just the Japanese industry. Like I know for a fact that K-pop industry is the exact same. Like the people in K-pop groups aren't allowed to like even hold hands. Well, the guys kind of are allowed to be like kind of promiscuous with like dating, but for the most part, a lot of
girls are not allowed.
A lot of the girls aren't even allowed to like hold hands with a different guy in public or even be seen with a guy in public. Like it ruins their image of like, oh, this idol is supposed to be pure and all this stuff. And like these idols are people, man. Like they just because they're an idol doesn't mean they're not human. And the fact that that's just how the industry is. They're selling you this image of a perfect like angelic being that can't be sullied. And that's why they have to maintain it. And there have been plenty of idols who have been caught in scandals like this, and it ruins their career just because they got caught slipping. Like they met their boyfriend and got caught by the paparazzi, and it's like,
because they started acting like a human fucking being.
Yeah, it's fucking stupid.
Maybe someday we should do a perfect Blue spoiler cast, because holy shit, that movie is still relevant to this day.
Actually, I would love to do like one of our spoiler-free movie reviews on that at some point. Perfect Blue is such a good movie.
It's disturbing how relevant it is.
Yeah, well, especially to this, and it's no wonder some of these people who are expected to keep up these perfect appearances all the time in public, it's no wonder they think about killing themselves. I would too, because it's an impossible standard to maintain 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously though, if you're listening to this and you've had thoughts about wanting to kill yourself, number one, don't. Number two, no matter where you are in the world, there's probably some form of help you can reach out to and get, and I will put a link to the Wikipedia article that has all of those different suicide hotlines down below in the comment, or not in the comments, but in the description. So yeah, it's a sad thing to start out with, but I thought it was worth bringing up just because of how kind of relevant it is.
And if anything, Just hate your enemies enough to keep on living to destroy them. All right?
Fuck
Are
yeah.
you encouraging assassination?
No, maybe.
No, but he is saying to believe in the him that believes in you.
Exactly.
Go fucking pierce the heavens, baby.
Row,
never get
fight the
tired.
power.
We'll never get tired of that quote. Anyway, so what are we actually going to be talking about tonight? We're going to be talking about something that John has talked about several times before on the podcast, but never in great detail. And that is the concept of underpowered and overpowered characters. Now, I do want to kind of stress that a lot of what we're going to be talking about is going to be directed pretty much at main characters and pretty specifically protagonists, but we are going to talk about some secondary characters as well. So I was not exactly sure how we should do this, so I thought maybe we should start out with underpowered characters because I feel like there may be fewer examples of those, or at least fewer more recent examples of those.
You say that, but the lists are pretty even both
I know, we
ways.
came up with a list of examples, and like the list is pretty long, so...
Now I have a question about underpowered characters. Are they synonymous or different from underdogs?
Now that is a good question because I kind of consider the idea of an underdog to be an underpowered character. Now you think of underpowered characters, you think of like, anime or just stories in general where like the characters have like superpowers or something equivalent to them. But I'm thinking like just underdogs in general.
I mean, I guess theoretically you could be underpowered, but not an underdog. I can't think of an example of that.
So
I mean, unless you're like the chosen one, but you just don't really look like one.
There's one trope in...
Oh, I was thinking. Oh, well, just quickly.
Okay.
Yukihiro Soma from Food Wars. I would consider him an underdog, but I wouldn't say he's underpowered because he has like the skills. He has like enough innate talent relative to everyone else, but he's like from a low family, so he's an underdog.
Yeah, like
So
that whole
they're
trope
not
of like
necessarily
this.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that whole trope of like this sort of like, I don't know if to call it like sort of a secret genius, like, is coming into this like different society where to them he's considered underpowered, and it is an underdog story for him, but in reality is like the strongest character in that story,
Okay.
Like there are simple examples of that.
Well, it's because when I hear underpowered characters, I think of specifically one thing came to mind. There's this old harem anime called Sumomomo Momo Momomo.
I've seen that.
Excuse me?
It's like something about the 12 zodiacs. Anyway, a bunch of girls are vying for this dude because he's got the good dick or some shit, and he's like underpowered compared to the girls. But like, he's like the main character, but he's underpowered. So I was like, yeah, because he's weak in combat compared to the other girls of the zodiac signs. And that's what made me think about underpowered, along with like...
And as much as that sounds... because I know what you're talking about. As much as that sounds like a hentai, it's not.
It's not a hentai, and it's old, dude. Fuck, when was this
like
made?
from the 70s, 80s?
No, Momomo
90s?
is from like early 2000s.
Is it that new? I could have sworn it came out in like the 80s or the 90s, but maybe it just looks like it came out in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah, so the original manga came out in 04 to 08. The anime came out in 06 to 07. But I remember watching this and
I didn't
like
realize it was that new.
Yeah, I just fucking stupid. Anyway, underpowered
characters.
Yeah,
yes,
I hate
underpowered
them,
characters.
I hate underpowered characters. Damn it.
You hate them.
I know, because I think a lot of people kind of associate them with like lame characters or boring characters, but I've always kind of, because I do love a great underdog story. It's one of the reasons I fucking love Haikyuu, because it is kind of an underdog story in itself. But like, the thing I like about it is because underpowered characters also sort of are underdogs in the stories they're in, it provides a lot of potential for character development and character growth.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
that's a classic narrative structure. Like, you go from nothing to everything, zero to hero.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, easy way to write a story, and it works.
It is. Yeah, it's simple and it's kind of like old school, but like you say, it works. It works a lot. Like, something that comes to mind is kind of like Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. He starts out at this like character who knows very little to almost nothing about the world that he's going into, and then you watch him, number one, absolutely never age. He's still fucking 10 years old. I don't know how that happened.
He's not
That's
10.
overpowered,
He's
dude.
canonically, he's like 12, I think.
He's like, yeah, he's somewhere between 10 and 12.
Well, he was 10,
forget.
but now he's 12. He's aged 2 years in the last 24.
In 20 years.
Man, it's
you
exactly
say,
what every single employer out there is looking for, a 12-year-old with 20 years of experience.
listen, you may be talking trash about Ash, but he literally just won the fucking cup or some shit. He finally beat the game, right?
After 30 years!
After like 30 years. So whatever. He's not underpowered at all now. Now he's a world champion. I'm just putting it out there. He's OP
Not
as
now,
fuck.
but he certainly started out like that.
Yo,
Yeah.
he was done dirty at the Orange Cup. Well, no, he won the Orange Islands. He did win at the Orange Islands, but he was done dirty by Tracy? I think it was Tracy, right? Back in
I forget.
Fuck,
I haven't
nah.
watched
Am I the
Pokemon in
only
so
one
long.
who still remembers
This is beyond
Pokemon?
me. I remember like early Pokemon, but
Yeah.
I remember like till May when May showed up. Aside from that, I don't know anything.
You remember May, huh? I see. Not a Misty
I
stan.
see where you're at.
I was more.
Misty's okay, but you know.
No, Misty was the best. She was the only
Nah,
Pokemon girl who got an M2M love song about Ash, and that's canon.
You only say
Okay.
that because she gave him the fucking bicycle. That's the only reason you like her.
No.
Who gives a shit?
First of all, she's 16. Okay, so she's like, it's a lot less creepy. Still kind of creepy, I guess. You know what? Hold on now.
You want to fact check that real quick?
Yeah, I think you might want to.
Anyway, I'm not a fan. So, underdog characters can still be overpowered though. Like,
They can.
Yeah, for sure.
for example, going back to Yukihiro Soma, like, sure, he's an underdog, but he's pretty OP. Like, he's got these crazy, innovative, genius cooking techniques because his father always challenged him to do crazy cooking, and
Because plot.
because plot. Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, he's actually OP because of plot. So that's why I can't really agree with the fact that you would say an underdog is underpowered. Like,
No, it's not the same thing.
yeah,
I
because
agree with you.
You're right.
For example, Sakura Haruno, like,
Oh, God.
she's underpowered, sure, but she's also overpowered after like she trains with Tsunade. Like, she's we everyone calls Sakura useless because she's basically useless to the plot. She's kind of there to just go like, Naruto, Sasuke, Naruto, Sasuke. That's literally all she does, right?
Listen, you say that in the first like 2/3 of Naruto, like before Shippuden comes around. That's all she does.
Yeah, exactly. So she would be a prime example of an underpowered character before Shippuden, but after Shippuden, she actually plays still not a major role, but she's kind of no longer the whole Naruto Sasuke girl
So
anymore.
she's the
actually
token waifu
becomes
character?
her own character. She's not tethered to anybody else.
Except she's tethered to that Sasuke dick. Anyway.
Yeah, well, that.
You guys are doing a wonderful job getting me interested in watching this garbage anime.
Yeah, fuck you. Naruto is actually really good. No, it's funny though because like a lot of people think that Sakura is useless. So many people, in fact, that the fucking creator of Naruto thought that she was useless.
She was.
Actually.
She didn't do anything.
No, so the creator of Naruto, Masashi Kishimoto, who I will never forgive for a certain someone, he actually came out like I think about 3 or 4 years ago in an interview and said that Sakura is one of the only characters in Naruto he actually just regrets how she was handled entirely, and if he had to go back and start Naruto over from the beginning, she probably wouldn't even be in the story.
Really?
Wow.
What the fuck?
Because
I haven't even watched much of any Naruto. That sounds so stupid. It's like,
I've watched a single episode.
I
really
can't
dumb,
figure
yeah.
out how to write a character, so I'm just gonna bye.
It
Just wait for
if
that
you
one.
watch, going back and rewatching the early episodes of Naruto, it's very clear that the character of Sakura was really created with no long-term goal in mind. She was just kind of there to create this.
Be pussy.
Well, yeah, I guess, but to be this like linchpin in a love triangle that never really happened.
Well, her main purpose was just to be the straight man, because Sasuke couldn't be the straight man because he was the edgy fucking moody boy, and Naruto was the crazy like fanatic guy. So Sakura had to play the straight man. And that's kind of why she existed in the beginning, and that's all she really does. Like, she doesn't help fight. When she does try to help fight, she can't even do anything. It's always up to like freaking Naruto anyway. So it's like, what? Why do you exist?
It's even funny because going back and rewatching some of those episodes, she's like the butt of so many jokes.
Yeah, she's also like flat.
Okay. She is kind of chunky.
She got no titties, man. After Shippuden, she got no titties.
How old is she again?
Nah, she a full grown MILF now, man. She got a kid anyway.
Well, yeah.
No. Oh God.
She got a kid with a man who's not even there.
Yeah, but he's roaming around protecting the leaf. Anyway, we're not talking about Boruto.
Yeah, we're not talking about Boruto. That doesn't exist.
Like, what I would consider like an underpowered character would be like Bell from Danmachi, because he's just so useless. Like,
wait, isn't he overpowered?
Yeah,
okay, so not to get into any kind of spoilers, but he starts.
It's fucking Danmachi. Who cares?
Yeah,
hey,
exactly.
shut the fuck up.
It's not about the plot. It's about the tits. Who watches Danmachi for plot?
I know.
No one.
I know. Just shut up. I know it's about Hestia's tits, but I have a point to make here. No. So Bell does start out as this character who he needs a lot of help because he doesn't have really many powers. He's kind of useless in the dungeon. And he has to basically be carried by everyone around him.
Hate it.
But when he finds out who, like, his actual lineage, it like awakens something in him, and he actually becomes this very useful kind of like
plot
character that can stand on his
plot.
Awakens something in him.
No, it's literally he's a super weak piece of shit, and everyone pities his little fucking idiot. Hestia's tits are hanging around everywhere. Also, thank you, MacGuffin. Now he has God mode. Fuck everyone. Fuck Danmachi. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong.
How many episodes does it take for him to get overpowered?
Huh? He was overpowered early on. As soon as you know what his power is, it's done.
It's so stupid too. His power is fucking Danmachi's so badly written.
John, I'm not saying you're wrong about any of this, but Hestia's tits are awesome, man.
That boob string though,
the boob string
is like mechanically like a stroke of genius.
No, if we want to talk about actual underpowered characters, though, man, Shinji, right? Getting fucking robot Shinji. Like,
so speaking of Shinji, so we've been talking about characters maybe that start from nothing and like maybe get a little better, as opposed to Shinji that starts from nothing and is just remains nothing.
Remains nothing.
The whole show, and honestly. Like, I mean, we said that, like, going from zero to hero is, like, a classic narrative, you know, enjoyable to see, but I honestly find it more interesting to see people who go 0 to 0, who just stay 0 the whole time. Because that's like, interesting. It's like, you have nothing, you're not gonna get anything, you're gonna be completely, pointless. How are you gonna deal with all this bullshit coming at you, huh?
Yeah, that's the point of Evangelion. What I like, sorry to cut you off, just wanted to say, like, that's the point, sort of, to make him like, yeah, he's not a good person, you should not look up to him, he's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Wait, why is he a piece of shit?
But the narrative of Ava,
masturbates over Asuka's comatose body.
That's so late, though, in the show.
I just want to say, you say that, and I agree. He starts out as this person who's really shy and timid, doesn't stand up for himself, and just does what his daddy tells him to do. But he does learn how to do two things by the end of Evangelion. He learns how to get angry like one time, and then he comes. Those are his two powers he learns how to do over the course of the entire story.
These are the 2 points that you've, like, absorbed from Evangelion.
Hashtag relatable for Alex.
Oh my god.
But
I can do both of those things very well.
Listen, he's like a 15-year-old kid. What else was he supposed to do? Right?
No, don't get me wrong. Okay. For direct, don't get me wrong.
Back to when I was 15, those were two things I did all the time.
Get angry and
don't get me wrong. Like, I really do, like, I love Evangelion. I love the journey that Shinji has in this show. Just like you know, just yeah, but you know, just putting out there, he was a piece of shit for doing it. That's the point, you know.
Yeah.
Like, Anno was trying to, like, take all these fucking weebs and, like, put a mirror on them. It's like, listen, this ain't right. you know. Listen, don't jerk off over my anime characters I created. Please.
You're so fucked up.
Yeah. Excuse me, you're the lowest of the lows.
Oh, wow. You gonna bring
Thanks,
that and put it in my
Netflix.
face? Fuck you, Natai. Fuck you.
Hey, I'm
So-
salty they removed Flight even to the Moon. But anyway, I digress.
Speaking of characters that stay useless, one of my favorite underpowered characters is Subaru from ReZero.
I was hoping someone would bring him up.
Because the whole point of an underpowered character is that they're useless and they're going to have to use something other than plot to get ahead of other people. So the writers are going to have to, be a little creative and not be like, oh, the big god man gives him god powers and now he blows everything up. No, you have to actually write an actual story that makes sense. And that is what happens in ReZero. Subaru actually has to walk around like a normal person, go around, collect information like a normal person and figure out everything like a normal person, which is interesting. It's like a detective story.
But Subaru's like the worst.
Yeah, I hate him, but I like the idea.
Like he's so.
But he grows. That's the power of this story.
So, about Subaru though. So if you think about it, his ability to where he can, if he gets killed, he can go back in time to like some kind of a restart point that constantly. I mean, that's not really a spoiler. That's in the first episode of the fucking first season. No, so he can go back in time to a restart point that's like moving forward into the future with him. Like in the hands of someone who is really intelligent, they would be able to use that like being able to learn from death to make it better. He does it and makes it fucking worse.
Because he's stupid. Because he's a normal
How does
kid.
he make it worse? What are you talking about? Because
so many times he has to die multiple 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times.
No, but that's the
Yes,
whole
because
point.
there's so
That's
much
the whole
shit
point of the power is to mess it up and figure out what happens, and then you can try again.
See,
Like,
I think the
the
point of
the
that
power
power
itself
is it's
is-
not,
no,
it's
no,
not
no.
actually meant
The-
to be a power. It's meant to be a hindrance.
That's the whole point. The power
No.
itself is sort of like messing him up as well. Like he's struggling with that as well. It's not just.
I'm not
It's
saying...
like he's actually struggling and trying to figure out shit's going around him and figure out himself, dude. Don't.
You are right. You are right. I'm just saying, in the hands of someone else who was far more intelligent, he wouldn't die as often.
The whole point is that it's in the hands of a stupid weeb who's been a shut-in for most of his life and has no regards for anything besides his
someone
waifus.
intelligent, they wouldn't need Return by Death. They would just do it the first try.
That's
This
true.
power helps people who are dumb, who have to do it multiple times.
It's like a crutch. It's a fucking crutch.
It's not, but he fucking suffers for it. That's.
Anyway, why are we even talking about ReZero? What was the point?
because I liked it and you don't.
Okay.
I have a character I want to talk about
Go
who's
ahead.
underpowered. Let's move on.
Okay. Go
One
ahead.
Piece is really good.
One Piece
So-
is really good.
No,
One
it's
Piece
not.
is really good.
No,
Fuck
it's
you.
not.
We will talk about this another time, Alex. Why you're wrong. Anyway, there are certain characters in One Piece that I found really interesting because at a certain point you have these like characters flying around and doing this wacky shit. It's really cool and really dope. But then you're looking at like a good number of the main cast who's like looking at them and they acknowledge this. And I'm like, how are we supposed to keep up with them? They're like basically gods in comparison to us. And I like how so specifically, I mean, I'll try not to get into too many details, but there's a certain character in the show called Usopp. He has a big nose. He's an idiot. It's fine. I love him. And he's just a guy, okay? So you have like all these different characters. This guy is a samurai with
dude.
3 different swords.
Usopp is a guy with a slingshot.
He's a guy with a slingshot, exactly,
go.
and some bombs. Like the first time we meet him, he's like, I have an army of 8,000 people, and everyone's like, dude, sure. And so anyway, he's like looking around, and you have this guy with 3 different swords. You have a different guy who's made of rubber. It's like, how am I even supposed to keep up with them? And it's an actual like plot point, you know. He's reaching a point where it's like, I don't feel like I can fit in with this crew anymore. I don't like. He's looking at his own worth and trying to figure it out. And while I have been told by certain people that later on in the show maybe it's gonna change, but at least for now in the show where I'm at, it's like a thing that's still like around, like, you know, it's still on his mind from time to time. Like, he is like slowly but surely like progressing through his issues and stuff. But I do find it interesting that when you have a show with like not necessarily a huge cast of characters, but a good number of them, that whole dynamic of, you know, it's like different power levels and all that shit. And sometimes, yeah, someone's like gonna like be down there, like not really, supposedly not really making a big difference. And I appreciate that turns into sort of a, you know, a plot point, and Oda actually tries to face that and turn it into like actual conflict and drama between the characters. And that's a point that I really appreciate, you know, because I haven't seen Naruto, but from what I've heard later on in the show, a lot of underpowered characters just kind of fall by the wayside in terms of their importance, you know? Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. I don't actually give a shit about Naruto.
I wouldn't say they fall by the wayside. Actually, one of the great things about Naruto is that by the end of it, a lot of the characters get their storylines wrapped up really neatly.
Yeah, but are they? Do those characters matter all the way through?
Yes.
I wouldn't say like every single character they ever meet, like that was only around for one episode, it mattered. But
no, man,
the ones that you see characters for multiple episodes, like all the main characters and a vast number of the secondary characters, all got fully fleshed out stories.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, fuck it. I don't know.
As someone who's seen both One Piece and Naruto, I did drop One Piece eventually.
Me too.
At like chapter 700, I think.
Wow.
Good
Took
Lord.
you long enough.
I'm still in Thriller Bark, John. I have a long way to go.
You are way behind. Anyway, yeah. So the
Obviously.
thing about like Usopp is that he's designed to be like kind of the butt end of everyone's joke. But you're right. Oda does do a pretty good job of like redeeming him and like turning him into an actual crewmate and an actual character that actually has a place, you know, with the what was the Straw Hat Pirates? Yeah.
The Straw Hats.
Yeah. So it's actually pretty refreshing to see that. Like, for the most part, I don't like underpowered characters like Bell and Subaru because they don't fucking do anything. But I do like...
Oh, I'm so tilted right now.
Yeah, I know you are.
John doesn't like to think through his problems. He likes God powers.
I do. Oh, man, I can't wait till we get to the OP section. I'm about to just gush.
Oh, no. Cream all
he's
over
about
us.
He's about to come all over your comatose body.
But
oh no!
Yeah, I like Usopp. I like how he's just like he talks big, right? That's like when he's first introduced. He's like, "Oh, I'm actually the king of the pirates, and I've got all these powers." And but he knows that he's like a weak piece of shit. But he does it because it's like he needs to put on a brave face, and then when he becomes Usopp Man or whatever the fuck it is in the English dub,
Soge King.
Soge King. Please. Yeah. And he like it's great. It's really refreshing to see, considering like you're right, like we have Zoro, and then we have like Luffy, we have all these other characters who are just like dramatically stronger, and they keep getting stronger, and then you have like normal people like Usopp, who's just a normal dude. He doesn't have no special skills, doesn't have cursed blades, doesn't have fucking any devil fruits or anything like that, and it's cool.
I'm specifically talking about just for the record, I'm talking about that whole Water 7 arc, how Oda handles that conflict between Usopp and the rest of the gang. It just, it's really surprised me how well thought out it was.
Yeah, because, I mean,
real good.
The main appeal of One Piece is, like, friendship, and adventure.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why it's probably put in there. It makes a lot of sense because, he's part of the fucking Straw Hats, so he needs to have a part, and he needs to have some conflict to be like find his place, to find himself. And it's good because again, One Piece is a never-ending story of friendship and adventure.
Sounds so interesting.
And it's actually good.
It's
fuck you. One Piece is actually good.
It's repetitive.
The description "never-ending story of friendship" is not a selling point.
Never-ending story.
Oh man, the Never-ending Story was a great movie.
Oh my god! But I want to talk about I actually do have a favorite underpowered character, and it's the MCs of Grimgar, Hal, and the gang. So when when the anime came out, I actually already read the light novel, and I like the light novel more than the anime because they portray Hal and the gang like as super weak because you would think with like most isekai tensei, everyone reincarnates or gets summoned to a new world and they have like a cheat system and they're all like OP and stuff. But in Grimgar, it's like, no, they're just normal people that have to live in a fantasy world and adapt to the fantasy world where like goblins can fuck up your day because a regular human should not be able to fight against a goblin, you know? And the MCs, at least from Grimgar, Hal and his gang, they're not OP. There are OP characters in Grimgar's world. We meet, like, was it Renji? I think his name was Renji. Who, in the novel...
I wouldn't even call him OP. I would just call him, like, relatively normal, whereas all the rest are, like... Like, Renji's skill is what I'd expect from this kind of show.
Like, yeah, from, like, a veteran of the fantasy area. Yeah. So, because... in the novel, Renji plays a bigger part in, like, inspiring the underpowered main cast. And that's why I like it a lot more in the light novel. They don't really do that in the anime. They kind of just go like, hey, it's kind of like we're kids. We got through into a fantasy world and we can't fight goblins and people get fucking just destroyed. And it's like, oh,
but
poor
the
babies.
OST, man. The OST.
Riveting.
But it's, well, because you watch the growth, you know, they, just like Sho was saying, like they don't start strong. They have to use their brain. They actually have to work together and cooperate, and they have to suffer consequences if they fuck up, like someone dying, for example, because someone decided not to guard because they got sloppy when they were doing a tactic, or they got in over their head and dived too far. And it's just it's cool.
It's a story where you actually feel like there are severe consequences for the fact that certain people are too underpowered.
Well, it's not that they're underpowered. It's just that these are literal teenagers that got sent to a fantasy world and they don't have cheat powers. So it's basically normal.
They're not all equipped to cope very well with this world.
And the OST is beautiful, and the water painted like sceneries and stuff. It looks good. Okay, it's actually a decent anime. Novel's better.
Oh.
Wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Well, I know, right? Surprising.
Anyway, I'm not going to even address that. I really do like Grimgar, but the fact that the MCs are underpowered really irks me. I mean, it was good at the beginning, but they never really improve. They never really grow, and I don't know why. There's no reason why. I feel like the author just doesn't know how to improve them, so... whatever. But I do enjoy Grimgar.
I only read up to the first 3 volumes, so I can't say very much about like what happens later on. Maybe they get better, but yeah, it's small improvements that you see. Like, it's not anything major. It's not like they can instantly go to the next level, but it's just like about the teamwork, about how they understand their roles better in their party, how they're respecting each other's boundaries and like learning each other's like perks, and like just it's a story about friendship, man.
Oh, God. I just really want to...
Go ahead.
I just want to quickly mention Midoriya from My Hero Academia and how much I hate him.
You mean Deku? I hate him too.
Because, I don't know, he was introduced as like, I have no powers. What am I gonna do? And I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting premise. Oh, I wonder how he's going to figure it all out, and how is he going to become a hero without superpowers? And then spoilers happen, and I'm like, what is the point? What is the point of this show? I was so pissed off.
Yeah, Deku. I thought Deku was going to go all Batman and be like, oh, I don't need superpowers. I'm going to be a super smart, like, man in a cave with a butler.
Where's All Might now? Tell me where All Might is.
They made such a big deal about him. Like, he was like crying, being like, I have no powers. This was such a big deal. And then it's like all irrelevant after the second episode. And I'm like, why did you do that? What is the point?
I mean, technically, it takes him like 2.5 seasons to get some actual use out of his power.
So does everyone else. Everyone else doesn't know how to do shit.
No, like everyone else, like understood their power because they fucking grew up with it. For me, it's like it takes them 2.5 seasons to actually get something done with it.
That's a good majority
Heck,
of the cast
it takes him.
who
It
can't
takes him
use
4
their
seasons.
powers
No,
in
no,
a
no, 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 no,
useful
no.
way.
It takes him actually. It takes him 4 seasons till he gets to a fight where he doesn't get like finish the fight like with his entire body broken. And that's
man,
sort of
he must have he's got to have the biggest copay ever on his insurance.
And that's sort of the point, you know. Again, we're going back to the whole point of, you know, a character slowly growing with their power. You know, that's the whole thing with shonen.
Yeah, I mean that is a
like, say what you will about My Hero Academia. Like, I'm not defending because it's like my favorite shit ever. It's okay, it's whatever. But I'm like, all right, that's the show, you know.
Yeah, I mean, like you say,
it does what it does.
The starting from nothing and becoming a hero is a common thing in shonen.
I just don't like being bait and switched when it sounded like it was gonna go 0 to 0, but apparently it's going 0 to hero.
Sho just
like,
wanted to see more suffering. He wants more main
characters. There's still a lot of suffering, regardless.
I think you underestimate exactly how much Sho gets off on watching other characters suffer.
I love suffering. Give me
That's
more.
a fair point.
This man loves suffer porn.
Yeah.
Fucking loves
God.
it. All right, so we move on to John's absolute favorite thing in the universe.
Yes,
Get
please.
the umbrellas.
Oh, yeah.
Get the umbrellas. He's about to bukkake all over this shit.
Oh, my God.
Are we talking about Berserk first?
I want to talk about Berserk because
I want to talk about that too because one, fucking wrong, but also kind of right. I don't. So
yeah, it's difficult with Berserk.
So
it's not
overpowered
as
characters. What is the appeal?
John, what is the appeal of overpowered characters to you?
I fucking love it when there's overpowered characters because they just steamroll everything, and I'm just like Sasuga Ain Soma. Like, oh God, I fucking love it. You don't understand.
Bone Daddy.
Freaking last season, Misfit Demon Academy, I loved the fucking Anos Voldigald, because he's just like, what the fuck? You think you can kill me just because I died? Guess the fuck what? I'm not dead, bitch. I'm the Demon King. You think I'm kidding? That's spoilers for anyone who reads it. It happens. But he's like, yeah, you can't fucking kill me. Just because you killed me once doesn't mean I'm going to stay dead. And everyone's like, wait, what the fuck? He's like, I'm the Demon King, bitch.
That's the most Chad thing ever.
It's the best.
That's so Chad of him.
I love it so much. It's
so is the show actually good? I need to understand if it's actually good.
It's
don't get it.
It's not.
I haven't watched it.
It's not that great. I'm reading it as well because I was like, this is so stupid and I love it. Like, I get it. It's overpowered MC trash. I don't care. I like it. Fuck off, everyone.
That's actually you mentioned that the whole thing about the overpowered MC has become almost a staple of a lot of isekai that have come out over the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for ages it's been like that. Do we want to talk about Kirito?
I mean, I think we talked about this during our isekai episode that we've all kind of agreed.
You know what?
Oh,
I've suffered through 3 seasons of this bullshit. I'm going to talk about it.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying we kind of agree it's not an actual isekai.
Okay, but let's talk about Guts first, because I saw Guts was on this overpowered list, and I fucking disagree. Like,
yeah, it's
Guts is not.
It's not simple.
I was the one who put him on this list, and I'll tell you why. That I think that there's not all, but some overpowered characters do fall into that trope of too angry to die, and that's how we have always described Guts. Too angry to die.
Yeah, because
Guts sort of started this trend, to be honest, but all of the characters that followed him in that path completely misunderstood the appeal of Guts as a main character. That's the thing. They only took away, it's a big guy and he's fucking strong and he's edgy and he's angry.
No,
like,
but he suffered so much.
Yeah, he suffered so much.
He suffered so much.
Earned
that's why he's
it.
too angry to die now.
Natai is right about that. The problem with people who try to emulate that is with Guts, he suffered a lot before he became too angry to die. With these other people that come in, it's like they're immediately too angry to die, and you're like, why? What kind of life have you lived?
Yeah, so
like Guts been through everything,
and even
my man.
Then, like, his power of why he's strong and overpowered, there's consequences to that. You know, using the berserk armor. It's not like he's like a shonen protagonist who can just like, just summon the power of friendship and everything will go right and nothing is wrong. It's like, no, dude, fucking this armor is gonna eat your fucking bones and use your blood until you fucking die. And like you're
Berserk never hits the reset button like so many shonen do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like, I just got to this one chapter when they're on a boat, and there's like this one panel of Guts sitting on the side of the boat and is like looking at the night, and his whole body is just covered in scars and burned and stuff, and I'm like, fuck, dude, you know, because he's been through so much, and it's a miracle he's like alive. It's insane.
There's
it's
literally
insane, like,
a freaking chapter about how he literally they do a miracle to save him. Anyway, that's why
Berserk is amazing, dude.
I like Berserk
It's never
a lot
gonna
too. Yeah.
be finished.
Yeah,
it's never
but
gonna be finished.
I'm so happy I have like 60 chapters to read.
By the way, there's a new Idolmaster game coming out next year.
Oh my god.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
We're doomed.
So I don't think Guts is overpowered in the sense that he starts off as like Anos Voldigald from Misfit of Demon Academy, but like.
But he is a strong.
He is strong, character. And it's kind of due to the plot, you know. But then when you look at like, you know, the God Hands and like how strong they are compared to Guts, it's like, well, he's not really strong at all compared to like the God Hand. So
also like, I think you two will agree with me that the true appeal of Berserk is not really the fight themselves. Like, they're fucking great, and that whole thing is amazing. But that's not really, doesn't even scratch the actual appeal of Berserk to us. No. Like, it's not even the main focus.
No, the fight scenes are cool. Don't get me wrong, but it's
they're amazing. But the thing that keeps us going and sticking with the show and the manga is like the character himself. You know.
Oh, I also just like
Guts is an amazingly developed character.
Yeah, and obviously, but like my point is, it's not necessarily he's so fucking unga bunga and it's strong. You know, that's not. Which is awesome, but
yeah.
I thought you were about to say Momonga or something.
Yeah, no. Speaking of Momonga, let me talk about the most overpowered piece of shit in all of anime.
I do want to say one thing though. Sho, if you actually do love suffer porn as much as you claim to,
Berserk.
You probably would like Berserk if you gave it a shot.
You would.
I tried to watch and read Berserk, but I fell asleep.
Wow. Okay.
Try it again, bitch.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway. Sasuga Ainsama, a typical like overpowered MC would be someone like Ainz Ulgon from Overlord, and it's just I kind of want to say he's not actually OP as well, but it's because he gets isekai'd? Tensei? No, yeah, he's isekai'd.
He gets isekai'd to the game world.
Yeah, he gets isekai'd to what is called the New World, and that's the world that he lives in now. And his video game character becomes alive, and his video game character wasn't OP, like compared to video game characters, but because he's kind of the only video game character in the new world, he is OP, because he could literally like snap his fingers and kill like the strongest swordsman in the world. So
there's literally, I mean, not to spoil anything, but there is a scene where to defeat an enemy that everyone is fucking terrified of, he literally just taps him on the shoulder and he's like, oh god.
Yeah,
dead.
And
so I need you to keep going.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the appeal of the appeal of Overlord to me is the setting and all that stuff and the world building, and it's kind of just like I like the fact that he's OP, and when it comes down to the combat, he just steamrolls everything. Because I'm like, hey, here's 3/4 of a book of a full volume about just describing the people, the atmosphere, the world, what everyone's thinking. And here's the last quarter where Ainz just fucking steamrolls everyone. And I'm just like, yes.
I mean, Overlord is just a griefing noobs in an MMO simulator.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It's basically, and like, who doesn't love bullying people online? Isn't that like the most satisfying activity you can engage in?
As someone Sho who has played games with you, I know you mean that from the heart.
Fucking.
But that is like totally a big appeal of Overlord, is that like he just bullies people.
And he doesn't even mean to do it sometimes.
Yeah, he doesn't mean to. But it's just complete bullying.
When you say it like that, it reminds me of that one scene from season 1 of Sword Art Online where Kirito is just standing there with like 10 dudes are swinging swords at him, and someone on the side's like, his health is regenerating so fast that they can't even kill him.
Oh, yeah, like, when he's fighting the PKers.
Listen, that was an amazing scene. Kirito is an amazing character.
Oh yeah, it was right after the fucking lolly got tentacle grabbed, but fucking wonderful. I fucking hate this show.
Yeah, but...
You know, if I were a woman in the SAO world, I'd stay a fucking million miles away from Kirito, because every woman he comes in contact with gets sexually assaulted or molested.
Oh man, let me tell you about season 3. Ooh, baby.
No. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about the
Can
number...
you? But
no.
Real quickly.
Okay.
No, I'm not SAO. Real quick, I do have a question because I'm actually trying to understand. I can't So what's the appeal of Ainz if there's not a whole lot to him except for his being powerful?
It's just
I actually don't get it.
It's entertaining.
No, I've seen.
Because he's okay.
But that's the weird thing. I not to go on a tangent, but I've been trying to understand this fucking show, and it's okay, on the one hand, it's supposed to be entertaining. It's it's just a goofball, but he is powerful. But it's okay. But then suddenly the show is trying to be serious, but I don't know if I should take it seriously because it's a god. So it's
okay, I'm just gonna say the anime is shit, but the novels are good, and the reason I like Ainzul Gol in the novels is because he's super paranoid, and there's like chapters and chapters of him just being but what if they do this, and what if they do that, and then what will I do, and then what will happen, and then if this and that and this and that, and then it's oops, I just killed you in one shot. Okay, next. It's
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I find that interesting and funny,
because
and cool.
even though
because I didn't get any of that from
they don't do it at all.
Not at all.
No.
So the thing about Ainz is he's just a normal guy, and he actually doesn't know anything. He knows that he's powerful to the point where he can overpower normal people, but he never assumes that he's the strongest. He always assumes maybe they have a guild class weapon, or they have something that can kill me, and he's always trying to prepare for that. And that's actually what's good. And also, there's the Evil Eye side story where he actually fights someone who actually almost kills him. So you should go read the Evil Eye side story, support Maruyama. But the main appeal in the novels to me about Ainz is just the fact that he's a worrywart. He doesn't know, and he's am I even good enough to lead my companions NPCs? I love them like my kids, and fucking he doesn't know what he's doing, and everyone interprets it wrong, and because the NPCs around him are so perfect, they do everything well for him, and when he fucks up their plans, and they're oh, you thought a million steps ahead, holy shit.
Sasuga
in summer. And it's entertaining to watch that, man. Watch this mediocre man just struggle to be this overlord of supposed to be OP character. It's good. It's good.
It is. And the world building is great.
Oh, I love it. And it gets lost in translation in the anime, which is a shame, but
it's a huge shame considering that it's done by Madhouse. You think they'd do better.
I mean, it's hard because the big appeal is all the monologues, and it's hard to do that in an anime where it's visual.
It's
Let
true.
me introduce you
there's
to
literally
Monogatari.
Paragraphs of monologues.
I mean, Monogatari is its own problem.
Monogatari. I mean, hell, even I could have actually added Araragi on this list.
So
not as overpowered as underpowered, because he constantly gets his ass handed to him.
So speaking of overpowered characters, we got to talk about Saitama, right? We got to talk about One Punch Man.
Yeah, we have to.
Everyone knows this. One made One Punch Man as a joke, and that's the reason why Saitama is OP. There's no real reason other than he can kill everything with one punch. That's it. There's no point.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just making fun of, I guess, super of overpowered characters, because he's just overpowered and he's kind of just a normal guy.
I feel like this is so I've seen I haven't watched the second season, and I probably never will, because I kind of got bored with One Punch Man about halfway through the first season. I get it. It's wonderful to watch. It's great. The soundtrack is phenomenal. It's just I kind of got bored with the punchline. Get it? Haha. That was not even intentional. It just kind of came out of my mouth. But no, looking back at it, there's this part of me that's is this just a parody of superheroes?
Basically,
no, duh. That's the whole point.
To some extent, yeah, dude.
See,
Good morning.
No,
somebody woke up.
I get that now, but I didn't get that as I was watching it. I'm
no, this
if
is
I go back and rewatch
Damn,
it,
Alex.
it might actually be funny.
Oh my god!
Wow.
It was a serious story. We're talking about very
Is this a
serious
parody?
issues. Totally not a joke. How dare you?
No, I
seriously
seriously didn't get that the first time through, which kind of tells you the mindset I went in with watching it.
You just hated it because it was popular. Don't fucking lie.
No, I did not. I did. It looks gorgeous. It certainly looks better than one's art.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
And
I think...
I can draw as good as he can.
In all seriousness, though, I think, like, aside from just being, like, a fun joke, I guess, I think what this allows for the story is to, like, go in some directions that I thought at least were interesting. I can't remember which part was it. I think it was with the big fish man, where it's like you have all of these different heroes who supposedly are better than Saitama because they're higher ranked than him, but just absolutely get just floored by this villain, and then by the end of it, Saitama just shows up and kills him, because obviously, but the interesting part, I think, in terms of the writing is the tension doesn't come from, oh, will Saitama kill him or not? No, nobody gives a shit. Of course he will. But the tension comes from these different characters that were built throughout the season, and are like, oh no, shit. They're dead, I guess.
Like,
it's like, which is like,
it was heartbreaking,
super clever,
like
honestly.
When freaking Moomin Rider,
Moomin Rider, my boy, yeah.
Freaking,
yeah.
It was heartbreaking. Like, he was like, even though he's a rank C hero and all the S tiers and A tiers are getting fucking bodied, he still was like, no, I have to defend them. And you're like, no, Moomin Rider, like, my baby.
Like, that's super clever. I love that part of One Punch Man.
That
I think
was
that's very well done.
But if we compare it to the source is just a joke. The entire thing is a joke. Like, there's no serious bits in it. It's all just like funny stuff.
It's like a joke that got way out of hand, and it's like,
and
we can't end it now.
Season 1 of One Punch Man was done really well. Like, the studio did a phenomenal job animating it. Great soundtrack, and they knew how to like direct it properly to make it an actual entertaining show that wasn't just Saitama beating the shit out of everyone with one punch, even though that's like the main story of one's version of One Punch Man.
One's Punch Man.
One's Punch Man, yeah.
One's Punch Man. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was entertaining. I just have zero interest in seeing any more of it.
Listen.
Yeah, when I saw how bad season 2 looked compared to season 1, I was like, I'm
season
in
2,
no hurry to watch it.
They tried, man. JC staff tried. They really did.
JC staff has tried with a lot of things. It's probably why
at least, hey. At least they didn't fuck up the Konosuba movie, so I'm happy.
No, and they didn't fuck up season 3 of Railgun either. They fucked up season 3 of Index. I don't know what happened there, but they didn't fuck up Railgun. So one thing that I think a lot of people kind of criticize about overpowered characters is that they can tend to become very easily become Mary Sue's / Gary Stu's, depending on what gender they are. And there's two examples I kind of have of that. Is it maybe not so obvious? Huh?
Is it Rimuru and Tanya?
No, it's not. Well, I guess you could say Rimuru, but
Rimuru is to some extent.
I give Rimuru a lot of leeway because there's obviously some comedy involved in that. But no, I was thinking more Sora and Shiro from No Game No Life, because it's never explained why they're so fucking smart.
Just because they are.
Yeah, it's just cause.
It's just cause they are, and that's why I think, like, as entertaining as No Game No Life is, I fucking love it. Like, I've watched the anime season 2 when, I've read the light novels, and I fucking love it. But I cannot escape the fact that Sora and Shiro are Gary Stu and Ameri Sue.
Because it doesn't matter to the story and what they were going for, right?
No, you're right. It doesn't. It kind of makes it more entertaining that way. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but it is what it is.
Like that fucking episode with Jibril where they just throw nuclear bombs at each other. It's like, that's fucking great. That's what the show is for, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be that kind of over-the-top shit.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes it entertaining.
It's like, why is Light Yagami such a genius? He's just a really, like, smart person, you know? That's not... I mean, those fucking plots he's doing, dude.
I mean, well, no, it's kind of it's said pretty much straightforward at the very beginning that he's like the straight A student. So
I didn't know getting A's made you a genius.
Getting anal makes you a genius. What?
Makes you a genius? Yeah.
The other person I was gonna say though is Tanya Degurachev from Saga of Tanya the Evil, because like she's just a Mary Sue for the fucking plot.
Yeah, no, it's just Psycho Loli drops nuclear bombs on enemies.
No,
Psycho Nazi
God
Loli
creates Psycho Loli that drops nuclear bombs.
No, Psycho Nazi Loli drops nuclear bombs on enemies.
Oh no.
Is it not
but
obvious
you see,
that
the way they balance the Mary Sue is by turning him into a psycho Nazi lolly.
Yeah. Actually, I think it's funny in Tanya that there is actually a character named Mary Sue who isn't really a Mary Sue, but kind of shows how Mary Sue Tanya is.
Well, she's the counterpart to, if you read the novels, she's the counterpart to Tanya.
Yeah.
Like, it actually has a relevant point anyway, but I think the name was just...
I think the name was supposed to be wordplay.
I think so, too. Like, it's not
maybe it just
obvious.
Sounds cool in Japanese.
Maybe it just sounds... It could. Like
it's Japan.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't doubt
Tanya definitely is a Mary Sue, because she's just... She all she has to do is borrow the power of God, and then she can nuke countries, right? But that was kind of like the curse of God. God was like, oh, you don't believe in me, so if you want to use powers, you have to chant my name and exalt me. And that's kind of like why Tanya's super OP. Because of God.
Yeah.
Because of plot.
Yeah. Which is kind of ironic in Tanya's case, because like the character that used to be Tanya, whose name I completely forget and is completely irrelevant to the plot anyway, was like an avowed atheist, and he's like, "You're gonna make me do this, aren't you? Fuck."
Yeah, and I brought up Rimuru as a Mary Sue, Gary Stew, whatever Rimuru is, transgender slime stew. Freaking Rimuru is also kind of a Mary Sue in the fact that like the system that Rimuru has is super OP, and he gets it for no reason. Like,
pretty
then
much.
As he's like evolving throughout the story, his system gets stronger, and it becomes like its own self-free thinking thing. And there's no real reason for it other than Slime feels bad that people attacked his people, so now he becomes strong.
Like by the end of season 1, he's a god, pretty much.
Yeah, and Fuse, the person who wrote Slime Tensei, Fuse did it on purpose. Like it's your typical isekai. That's why it's gonna be OP. And just like how I like Overlord, it's just fun to watch, like to read. It's entertaining to me when Rimuru is like, "Oh, you thought you outbeat me? Guess what? New function of my slime abilities: get bodied, punk." And it's just funny. Like,
but I'd rather like I prefer like the moments I enjoyed more were moments like where, what's the name of that pink-haired chick, the demon lady? Milim. Like the moment where he sort of wins that battle by giving her honey, and she's like, "Fuck, I want that honey." Like I found that way more entertaining than him just steamrolling armies, you know. So that's my issue.
I mean, obviously,
I like the fact though that as he gets more and more powerful, he comes up with more and more clever ways of winning.
Well, it's because
where he doesn't have to fight.
Well, the thing is, like, just like in Overlord and Slime Tensei, it's not a story that's supposed to be taken like super dramatic and serious.
True.
It's supposed to be entertaining. It's lighthearted fun, and
yeah,
you know, it's not trying to be dramatic or anything like that. That's why they have all those comedy bits in there.
I knew the second they had that bit in the first episode where there's a cut back to the real world of the best friend destroying the computer. I knew from that moment on, I don't need to really take this very seriously.
Oh, what a bro. Yeah. What a true bro.
Now there's the overpowered character right there.
Yeah, but in all of these overpowered characters, like, again, I enjoy watching them interact in their world and how they just steamroll everything. It's entertaining, man. It's like, there's no thought to it, right? It's just, hey, I don't like that, gonna do it. Oh, guess what? I win. Like, oh. And everyone else is like shocked. They're like, oh my god, they're so strong. What happened?
So someone, I forget who, but I read something somewhere that was pointed out, and I'm like, I can't not think about it. Like, I can't not think about Rimuru like this anymore. That someone pointed out Rimuru is basically, at least his progression, is basically what would probably happen if an artificial intelligence ever became self-aware. It would just be like Rimuru. Just like the second it figured out its environment, it would start to become immensely powerful.
Wait, no, the Great Sage, yeah. Like, I'm not sure how far you guys are in it, but the Great Sage does evolve and become sentient. So
yeah,
I think all of us only watched the first season in the anime.
yeah. I haven't read
shame.
anything else.
Me neither. I haven't read it.
The web novel is finished. Like you can go read it. Fuse actually left. So Fuse, the author of the web novel, was like, "Hey, cool that you translated this all into English," and he left it up online. He didn't sue the people to take it down.
Really?
What a bro.
Wow.
Huh.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
What a bro.
What a dude.
Yep.
What a good dude.
What a dude. He's the dude.
Get him some White Russian.
I don't know. Are there any other characters we actually do want to talk about? I mean, I feel like I don't know who wrote this down, but All Might, yeah, kind of overpowered, but
Eh.
It's fine.
I mean,
I think we
It's
covered like
conditional.
a good.
he's
he's
allowed to be
conditional.
overpowered because he's a secondary character.
He's like
for sure.
Yeah, I think he's more interesting as like sort of like a tool in that world where a shit ton of characters are sort of, I don't know if to say connected or related in the sense of his reach is like to a shit ton of characters, and it just makes sense because how he's positioned in that world. So it makes sense that, oh, that villain is affected by him because A, B, and C. That main character is inspired by him because this and that. So I think that's like a good use of an overpowered character because he's positioned so well in the setting that they created. You know,
maybe
I found it interesting.
The idea that he's like this mentor character, I think, works for him being overpowered. Like
sure, but I'm not even talking about that mentor character. Just like how it's all going back to him to at some point. Just I found that really like interesting.
He
to be honest, kind of clever.
He kind of like is that actual age revealed in the story?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
I don't
like
know.
something that, because I don't want to really give away too much because like his condition, shall we say,
Sure.
it reminds me of like these stories that you see of like the aging hero that's just desperately trying to pass on what they know while they still can.
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. Like, I don't know if he's actually old or not because he doesn't give off the appearance of necessarily being like super old, but
he has his time is limited.
yeah, he knows that his time is
sure.
limited. He may not be like actually like significantly aged, but his time, he knows.
There
his
was
time
a really good payoff for that whole thread.
Yeah.
Back in season 3, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. I don't know. In my mind, All Might being overpowered works way more than how they tried to show off Deku being underpowered.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. All right. So there was one other character I wanted to talk about, but I could not for the life of me decide which list to put her in, whether it's underpowered or overpowered.
Oh no.
No, it's Megumin from Konosuba. Is she underpowered or overpowered? Seriously, I have
She's
to
overpowered.
know.
That's the joke.
No, yeah, that's the joke.
She's
like,
overpowered.
She's overpowered, but because of it's circumstantial because she can only use it once a day, so she's.
Yeah.
But doesn't that make her underpowered if she can only use it once a day?
Because that's the joke.
Alex, it's a
Konosuba's
fucking comedy. That's the joke.
I know, but
why are you taking
Alex?
anime so serious?
Alex, what are you doing?
I'm just trying to decide whether I think that makes her underpowered or overpowered, because if she goes and does her little fucking explosion thing and she's by herself, right, where there's no one else around her that can help her, and she does that and she doesn't kill every single enemy, she's fucked.
I think the whole idea of Konosuba is that they're all pretty shit and useless. So I guess,
Yeah.
Well,
and she
yeah.
doesn't even use her power like super strategically. So I guess she would be underpowered.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, she doesn't use her power strategically. She just wants to explode shit all the time. And even though her like ability is super powerful, it's got these limitations that kind of make her like useless.
Alex, let me introduce you to a certain concept, okay? Bear with me.
Comedy.
Comedy.
I know it's supposed to be comedy, but I don't know what list to put her in. Don't listen.
Thank you.
My mind works in mysterious ways.
No, you just like to jerk off to Megumin Doji and fucking Lolicon.
Listen here. I'm
You
not
can't
gonna
defend
deny
yourself.
it, but shut the fuck up. I'm a man.
I'm so sorry.
I am a
I'm
man
so sorry.
of constant culture. What are you? What is a man? But
What are
invisible
you
pile of secrets. Oh God. We didn't mention any of the characters from Castlevania.
What did they have to do with anything?
Yeah.
I don't know. Trevor Belmont's pretty OP.
No, he's not.
He's
no, he's not. He's just a guy.
He's just a Belmont. Like, they're
Yeah.
not OP.
God.
They're just monster hunters.
He says that a lot in this story. I'm just a Belmont.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the point.
God damn it. I'm done. I'm fucking this. I'm done.
All right, I fucking headphones. I'm throwing them away.
I've done my job here tonight. I've gotten everyone frustrated. All right, thank you out there for
Does
dropping
this podcast have a
this.
problem?
Shut up! I'm trying to get this out of here because I'm sure Joe is very hungry. Thank you out there for dropping in to listen to us. Check the description below to find links to Anime Club After Dark on Twitch, on social media, and on Discord. Check out our merch store and our affiliate links as well. Any purchases you make there do really help us out. With that, I have been your host Alex, and I will see you next time, where I'm sure I will frustrate everyone yet again. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good night.
Twitch.tv/Anime Club After Dark.
I am dog. Okay?
What?
What?
I am dog.
I am
okay?
dog?
Prefer doggy style?
Whoa.
I do.
Whoa.
Oh, okay.
So, John, have you discovered Hololive too?
I fell in the rabbit hole weeks ago. And I've
Yes!
been just like...
One of us.
I've
One
got
of
2
us.
out of 3. Show.
No.
Listen,
No.
it started with Galgura, and I was like, oh yeah, the memes. But then I discovered Corona Inugami, and I'm just in love.
Yes. Oh no, best dogger got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
I thought I had it all together.
All together. But I was led astray. There you walked away.